Hello, welcome to my channel. If you're new, welcome, and if you're a returning visitor, then welcome back. I'm Julie Torrens, and we're going to do a very beginner watercolor. Now, I'm going to start out with paper. If all you have is printer paper, I know that you're going to struggle, but you can give it a try. This is paint and marker pad from this Paycon company. I got this at the dollar store. It's 24 sheets for $1. And they have in the same brand at the dollar store. They had, and this was at Dollar Tree. Yeah. They had this brand when they had one that was called watercolor paper, but I really like this one better. And the sheets are substantial. I'm using it as a sketchbook, but this paper is a good way to start. Now, what I'm going to be using today is I'm working in a journal because I like to do art journaling. And this is by Aqua Bee, and it's a bee paper product. And unfortunately, I cannot find it in the US anymore. And even looking on art supply sites outside of the US, I cannot find it anymore. So the only thing is that Michaels carries some pre-cut, and they're like 5x7, maybe a little larger, individual sheets. You get about a good number. I want to say maybe like 20 sheets for, maybe $10, something like that. So, you can look at it, but Canson makes a good mixed media line, and Strathmore makes a good line. I just wouldn't invest till you give it a try. Now, I put some washi tape. If you don't have washi tape, you can use masking tape. If you don't have masking tape, don't use anything. It's fine. But if you wanted that edge that we all have fun with watercolor, I wanted to show you. I didn't put the last piece on. I bought a whole big pack, and I want to say there was maybe 15 rolls. And it was inexpensive on Amazon. I do not have an Amazon affiliate, and I'm not connected with this company. But the reason why I picked it out was, can you see that it's got a graph on it? And so as I move the tape, I can get a straight line. And if I want to do double or like 1.5, I can adjust it and then have it the same all the way around because of this graph. So that was really handy. And again, this was not expensive. And I can tell you, it really doesn't stick that well. But for this application, it's perfect. I don't have to do anything to make it work. So I'm just going to lay my last piece on, and it's very thin. It all twirls up, but you can make it work. Again, you can use masking tape. You can use whatever you have. And if you don't have anything, the paper's a little askew. But so if it looks like I'm really missing the boat here, that's why. Okay, watercolors. So there are different grades of watercolor. This is a student grade. Now, student does not mean child, but I do know that this has the safety things that it's child safe, but this is praying, and I really, really like these paints for beginning. Now, you've seen the sets that are a little bit bigger, and they have a whole lot of round circles. They have that at Michael's and Hobby Lobby and Joann's and Walmart and everywhere. Those are awfully chalky, and they shift. So if I was just starting out, I wouldn't start out with those. But if that's what you have, it's fine. Go with it. The praying is, I'm just talking about this if you have no other watercolors and you're just going to go out and buy some. You used to be able to find these at the grocery store. I'm not seeing them that widely out there anymore, but I have seen them at Michael's and Hobby Lobby and stores like that. They tend to be a little more expensive. I got this one off of Amazon because it was the only place I could get the 16. Any place local to me only had the 8. So the 16 colors, you'll notice that they're called pre-moistened. I think they've got a bit of glycerin in them because that is what makes them kind of glide nice. So what else do I have? I've got some brushes, and this watercolor set, I wouldn't say it's the best brush I've ever used, but it's a fairly decent brush. And then I've got my double water, one for washing, and so just, 2 containers, get some water. And then this is just a hair product bottle that I use as a mister. Whatever you have, if you do not have a bottle that you can use like this, the dollar store, I wouldn't spend any more than $1 for a sprayer or a mister. You'll want to get it if it's a mister from the dollar store with an adjustable tip that you can make it a fine spray. But I know that they have those there. I've seen them there. If you're working in an area where you don't have a water source handy, like maybe you're, in an outside studio, in a garage, I would have some water on the side, just a gallon jug of water, because watercolor, we love water. Okay, I'm going to activate my paints with this mister. Now, not all paints need activating, but I never was disappointed by activating my paints and just giving them a head start on getting wet. And I have been disappointed by not having my paints activated. So just giving them an activation. And then I just have a pencil, and we are going to do a really simple watercolor that I think is fun and I think it's satisfying. So here we go. Now, it does take a little bit of drawing, but I promise you can do this. And we're going to start out with 3 ovals. So I'm going to put an oval here, and I'm going to put an oval here, and I'm going to put an oval here. And whatever direction you have them in, it's just fine. And those are 3 heads. Don't worry, we're not going to be drawing faces, just those heads. And then I'm just going to give a line for a neck. And now I just want to have what would really kind of represent the spine. I want the girls, these are going to be some ladies, I want them to have some movement because they're going to be dancing. So I'm just going to take my pencil and I'm going to give her a little twist, and then don't worry about proportions. It's all going to be fine. And then I'm just going to let her legs kind of come out in some kind of a little dance move, and their feet are just going to be bloop, bloop. And then I want her arms to look happy. So I'm gonna, and now raise your arms over your head. If you do that, you'll notice that your head is about where your elbow is. So think about, she's gonna have a shoulder, so her arm would be about here, and then bring it up, and then boop, there's her hand. And then maybe this hand's coming down, and that's a little long. Take that down a little bit. There we go. But honestly, a long arm just looks like she does a lot of yoga or something. So don't worry about it. Okay, stick lady number 2. Now, she's in between, so she doesn't have quite as much freedom of movement, but that's okay. So she'll be a little more straight, and maybe we'll make up for her movement with some leg movement. I don't know. So we'll give her this foot, and we'll give her this foot. There, that's fine. And then this lady, she's kind of bent to one side, and so I'm just going to bring her back a little bit, and then she can be having her little praise arms coming out here. Our other lady needs some arms, and she's going to be bending this way a little bit, and maybe she's got one leg more kicking out, and then this leg she's just standing on. Okay, she needs some arms. I kind of wanted to see where the other arms were going. So I'm going to bring her arms this way and this arm this way. Okay, so there's our 3 little girls. Aren't they fun? Okay, now we're going to draw their dresses. And so I'm going to just make a line right in that neck, and then I'm just going to follow the arm and just give a little sleeve. You can see it's not complicated. Bring this one up, give a little sleeve, bring it back, and then just kind of a triangle dress. Now, one of these dresses may be going behind the other girl's dress. It's It's not that kind of a precision drawing. I think her dress is a little short. And you know, just erase. It's not a big deal. Try not to scrub the paper too severely though, because we don't want the paper to get pilly on us, you know, like coming up, like a sweater pilling. Okay, let's give this girl some clothes. And again, I'm gonna just give her where her, kind of like where the collar would be, and then bring it up and down, and bring it up and down, and then bring her dress in. Now she's got her sleeves, and now just a swingy kind of a triangle dress. And her dress is going behind hers, and that's fine. And now our last little happy girl. Put a little collar there, and then I'm going to put her sleeves about here. And her sleeve's going to go behind a little bit, but that's fine. And her dress is going to come down and come out. She's got that leg going up there, and then just bring it down maybe here. Okay, they look a little complicated because we've got all those lines in there. You can see this eraser has about had it. So I'm just going to grab another pencil that I have an eraser, and hopefully the eraser's not too dry. We'll just give it a go. Okay, so I'm just going to erase the lines that are inside the dresses because it's just confusing us. Do you know what I mean? So just erase those out. And there. I do have a little brush to brush this off, but our pencil, we're just using a regular old number 2 pencil, so it doesn't smear a whole lot. And there. And if it's not 100% obliterated, don't worry about it. We're just trying to get rid of the lines. I do not mind my working lines to show in my artwork. I just think it shows just the work of the artist, and I think it's fine. So don't worry if these lines show, because one of the beauties of watercolor is they are transparent. So we shouldn't be obliterating all of the lines. Okay, so does that help them make more sense that we've got rid of like the stray lines in the dresses? Now we can kind of pick out the dresses a little bit easier. And I'm just connecting this up to, again, just try to make it easier for you to see. But there are our 3 simple girls. Now, let's pick some colors and dress them up. What do you think? Okay. All right. So now this brush that I'm using is a number 4 Grumbacher. You know, again, use what you have. And I'm going to start out with her dress. And I'm just going to pick a happy color, you know, cheerful. So I think I'll pick this light orange. And there's a little bit of something on top of it. So I'm just going to rinse to get whatever that mix of color. And now I don't want it too dry and I don't want it too wet. Oh, and something I forgot. I want you to take that mister bottle. If you don't have a mister bottle, just take your fingers and put it in your water source and give it some drips at the bottom. And I'm just going to hit her just 3 times with the mister. But I'm pretty much below the dresses. Okay, so I'm just going to, I'm just putting it over here so I can kind of see the color. And if it seems a little dark, I'm going to add a little water. And I'm just filling it in like a coloring book. I'm going to fill in her orange dress. Like I said, just like a coloring book. It's not a hard technique. Now your paint should not be dragging. Can you see how my paint is wet and fluidy? And that's what we want. It's watercolor. It's not tempera paint. It's not oils. It's not acrylic. It's watercolor. And so it likes water and it stands up best in water. And there's her dress. Okay, now I'm going to take her orange dress color and I'm just going to put some splatters at the bottom. Just like that. Isn't that fun? There. Now some of them, because I did that misting, are going to spread out a little bit and some of them will just stay like splatters. And any which way it's fine. I'm just getting rid of some of the eraser crumbs. Okay, I'm going to skip her dress because this will blur into this because of wet to wet. But if it happens, again, we're not going to fuss about it. Okay, now I'm going to pick this kind of a tealy color. And you can see I'm just testing it over here on the little mixing area that they've given you. And I'm going to fill this in, like I said, just like I'm working in a coloring book. Just fill it in. And, you know, if you go out of the lines, it's okay. Enjoy yourself. Relax. This is fun. If it's not fun, then, you know, that it's not a hobby, it's work. So I want this to be fun for you. Now, those of you who are a little bit more in tune to watercolors and have been using them for a while, I realize this is very basic, but, you know, we all have to start somewhere. And if it's all complicated and hard, then I know it's too easy to give up. So don't give up. Keep at it. Keep practicing and keep trying. Okay. I think my dress looks good, so I'm going to pick up some of this paint. A little bit of water. It's getting dry. A little bit of water, a little bit of paint, and I'm going to do the same as I did the first time. Put it right down there. And this time, I'm just going to take my brush and make a few bigger ones. And then I'm going to take my brush again and hit the bigger ones with a little bit more water. And there. Okay. And now, the middle dress. Now, the middle dress is still, you know, going to want to bleed into the blue. The orange is probably okay. So we're going to skip that. And now we need 3 girls that have some skin. So, you know, the skin color can be whatever you want. I'm going to start my first girl with this brown. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of that orange that I started out with. Because, you know, plain brown is, it just, I don't know. This is not what I'm looking for. And I'm going to add a little red. Okay, I like that color. I don't want it to be orange like the dress. And I don't, you know, this is a color I'm going with. I can't explain why. A little bit more water. And now I'm going to first fill in her head. One of the heads anyway. And I don't believe this is too close of a color as her dress. I think it's fine. And I'm going to just add a little more pigment in here. Just darken her up a little bit more. We're not doing eyes, mouth, hair, nothing. Now I'm going to go with her throat and stop at the dress. And then this little hand. You can just see it's just a little wave. And her other hand. This is a little wet, but that's okay. And there. And now her legs and feet are a little bit mixed into the drops that we already put down. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set my brush down because I don't want to lose my pigment. And I'm just going to get a paper towel, which I should have told you I had some paper towels. I'm just going to lay it on top and blot. And any that I see that are still kind of puddly wet, I'm just going to bring it up. Because you can see I haven't taken it all away. We still have our fun little splashes. And we can add some more. Okay, now this little girl's legs. I'm just going to bring it down. No knees, no ankles. She just has legs. And there. There. Good. Okay, now change it up a little bit. I think I'll add maybe a little bit of this is it's more of a maybe like a magenta or a pinky red, and I'm just going to add it to this color so that the next girl has just, you know, we all have different complexions. So I'm going to give this girl a little different complexion, and I'm going to go to our girl in blue and put her in. Filling in her head, and then I'm just drawing on top of my line, that's her throat, and then bringing out her arm. Pick up a little more pigment, and picking out her arm, and now her legs, and her little foot, and her little happy foot over here. All right. Okay, the middle girl dress. Let's do that. Okay, and if this dries out, or any of these dry out, and I want to re-wet them, they will keep working. They're totally fine. All right, I'm going to take this purpley color, and I'm going to test it out here. You may not be able to see it. I got as much in frame, but if I pull it out much more, then I'm afraid you won't see the painting. So I'm going to go ahead and start working on her dress. And this is just a happy, bright purple. I love it. I love bright colors. I love color. There are many artists, and they do beautiful work, all like neutrals. And I love looking at it, but if I had a palette that was nothing but beiges and browns and everything in between, I would be sad after a while. I mean, it's okay once in a while, but I'm just talking about me. I'm not being critical. And if you love beige and brown, and God love you, you just go for it. Because as I say, I have seen beautiful home decor and people's color palette for their clothes, and it's beautiful. But I want color. And that's what makes the world go round, right? We all like different things. I'm getting a little dry, so I just dunked in the water to move this paint around a little more. Okay, now I'm going to take, I'm going to hold off on some more splashes. I'm going to start working on the other girls, and her legs and her arms and her head, but I may just have to kind of, I don't know, just wait a minute before I get to her arms and legs where they touch her dress. Okay, remember this kind of the tone that I've been creating these girls. I'm going to add another color. What do I want? You know, do I want to warm it up? Do I want to cool it down? What do I want to do? Do I want to make it lighter? I don't want to make it lighter. They're certainly fair enough. I think I'll add yellow, and let's just see what that does. Because they're not going to be the same, but they're all going to be beautiful. Okay, here we go. Here's her head. Not perfect. And you know, if the oval that you drew, you want to make it a little fatter or a little rounder, go ahead. Go ahead. Whatever you want. Here's her throat. And this arm, see, is not touching her dress. So I'm just going to do it this way. And, you know, by making their skin tones just a little bit different, when you've got a mass of arms and legs, it helps define what goes with who. And she's behind, so I'm not going to drag across the other girl's leg. Honestly, the one I'm working on, I think she's kind of jumping maybe. I don't know. She's excited. So am I. I'm so glad you're here. And I'm glad you're painting with me. And there. Fun, huh? So these are our 3 pretty dancing girls. Okay, now, should we dress them up just a little bit? First thing I'm going to do, remember that purple color that I used in that dress? I'm grabbing it on my brush, and again, I'm giving it a splatter at the bottom. And you know, the splatters may be going high, they may be going low. I really don't care. I just want some splatters. Now, their dresses. I'm just going to maybe add a tiny bit of individuality to these dresses. So this girl's dress, I'm going into the heavier or darker orange. And all I'm going to do is just give her dots along the bottom of her dress and then maybe along her cuffs. There. And then our girl in the blue dress, I think I'm going to grab let's see, I was going to grab that purple, but that's her dress. I think I'll just grab a darker blue. Not necessarily darker as it is, it's a different shade. We'll see what it looks like. If it's not enough oomph, we'll pick another color. Okay, let's see what we got. Okay, so instead of dots, maybe I'll just give her a stripe. And I'll give her a stripe here and a stripe here and there. Okay, and then our last little girl, you know, I'm going to grab some of that blue. Where is it? Right here? Few splatters. Okay, our purple girl, I'm going into the dark purple over here, and I'm going to give her maybe kind of like a rickrack design. Do you know what that is? It's a kind of like a trim, and it's like a zigzag. There. And maybe just give her a little zigzag on her sleeve like that. Okay. I'm going to take that dark purple that I just got on my brush, and I'm just tapping it into the water here. A little more pigment, and give that a splatter. Okay, isn't that cheerful? Aren't they fun? Aren't they fun? They sure are. And not hard, not difficult. Okay, here's the magic. Let's pull off the tape, okay? So, remembering that this was the last one I put on, it's going to be the first one I pull off. And then the last one here. And this one here. And that blue is from the prior page. And then this one, art journals do that, and I don't mind. And there. Wonderful. Grab a Sharpie. Always, always sign your work. I hope you found this helpful. I hope you found it maybe educational, or I hope that you maybe are getting a little bit braver and getting into your watercolors. But this was so fun and so simple. Think about this on a greeting card or just anywhere. I just think it just bubbles up with joy. Thank you for joining me. If you liked it, please consider hitting the thumbs up, thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, and if you hit the bell, you'll be notified every time I put a new video out. See you in the next video.